Hi, I'm Eileen Roche. Welcome to today's episode of Between Friends. I'm so excited. We're going to talk about the 5 W's of metallic thread. The what, the who, the where, the when, and the why. And I'm going to have some help in today's program to answer all those 5 questions. And I'd like to welcome each of you. Betty Turner from Rolla, Missouri, and Retha, you're up there in Wyoming, very hot, I know, for sure, all over the country, right? And Marjorie Hirschberger, always lovely to have you here from Lancaster, PA. And Deborah Jones, welcome. You made it on time today from Houston. We're always happy to have you here. You know, better late, early, doesn't matter. Like having each of you here. And Judith Whitlock, you're up in Montana. So make sure you type in, let us know where you're watching from. You know, metallic thread is a lot of people's favorite topic, right? They love to embroider with metallic thread, add that sparkle and shine to their embroidery. And yet, sometimes if they're not using, well, our favorite metallic thread, they can have some difficulties. So we're going to kind of walk through all those different situations that you might face and really how to get the most and the best out of your metallic thread. So wow, we really have a lot of folks joining. And, you know, if you have any friends that are, you know, interested in metallic thread, please share this link today with them so they can join in with the fun. I love it. And Sheila, you're up in Massachusetts. I just drove through Massachusetts last week. So lovely to have you here. Esther Hopland. Oh, Esther, I have a show and tell of viewers that we're going to share at the end of the program. So stay tuned for that. We have some great on the house designs to share with you that folks have been, posting. And then of course we have today's new one. So let's go ahead and get started on the 5 W's. So who loves metallic thread? Well, first off, I'll share with you what today's product is. And that is, of course, Kingstar. It's our fall metallic and also our exquisite 40-weight quartet. That's our fall quartet. We're getting all ready for the fall. Even though it's summer all over the country, I know embroiderers like to get started early. So, and we need to, don't we? So this is going to help you get started on your fall stitching. So who loves it? Well, lots of dime dealers do. Here's our good friends at All Brands in Louisiana. So we also have a great dealer up in Calico Corner, New York. You know, this is just a smattering of our dime dealers. You should ask your local dime dealer if they carry Kingstar thread, because we have, you know, several hundred dealers who do carry it. And you can always call them and see if they have your favorite color in stock. Here's Aretha Flood from Quality Sewing in Washington. Boy, do they know about embroidery and sewing. They've been in business for many, many years and have over 14 locations, all in the Washington area. So they are absolutely experts. When they talk about a product, we listen. Here's our friends All Brands and Sewing Machines Plus in California. That's just to name a few. There are many, many more dealers who have it. Who else loves it? Well, embroidery experts like my good friend Ashley Jones, who works here at Dime. But, you know, before she worked here, she was learning embroidery on her own also, you know, for many years, and has mastered lots of the tasks involved with machine embroidery. So Reen Wilcoxon of the Embroidery Garden, she's another Kingstar fan. And Stephanie Young from Caesar Vinyl Company, she's also a Kingstar fan. So you just never know how many different people and, you know, who love that Kingstar thread and find a different way to incorporate it with a material that they love, like Caesar's vinyl. And here we have Suelle Brown from OLM Embroidery, Sue S. Brown, not L. And she's another embroidery expert. Look at those fun nails. I know she loves Halloween, but look at that Kingstar that she used. She used the purple and the silver for those wings behind the skull bones. Really very well done. Love that. But there's another person who absolutely loves Kingstar thread, and I'm going to bring her in. That's Deborah Jones. She's in the house today. Hey, Deborah.
Hey, Eileen. Hey, everyone. Great to be here because, this is one of my favorite topics.
Absolutely. I mean, you introduced me to Kingstar thread. You've been using it for many years, right?
Right. And, there's no reason to use any other metallic thread in my book.
I agree. So let's kind of go ahead and talk about some of those different, what types of designs would you use? So that's the what, right?
Right. And we need to know what shows it off to its best.
So I say when you're thinking about metallic thread, think about the sun and how the sun reflects off of different surfaces. So if you have a flat lake like a mirror, right, you're going to get a glimmer of sunshine. But if you have ripples, it really lights up, right?
That's true.
Yeah. So let's take a look at some embroidery that we've stitched out so you can see the difference in the sheen. Here we have just straight metallic wide satin, which absolutely gives more glimmer than the narrow 4.0 and even still the 2.5. Curves. As the sunlight really begins to play. A flat sheet of metal, most certainly, metal is a complex spell stitched in metallic, right? But boy, when you add some texture to it, like fill, look how it becomes like almost opalescence.
Like fish scales almost.
Yes, that's a great analogy. I love that. And same thing, that's our orange and of course our purple, which we love. So you're getting that same effect. And I just love the difference between the curved satins and the straight satins.
Yes, those curves just give it a little bit more movement to reflect that light.
Yeah, it's lovely. Now, many of us do quilting, right? So we have, straight line stitches that we like to stitch in metallic thread. When it's just a single line, you might not really get that sheen that you're looking for. It just isn't enough thread.
Right.
Right. But when you put them closer together, and then when you have areas that have what we call thread buildup, that's where you really get some sheen. And,
right. Yes. Look how where those circles come together, it really shines.
I know. I love that. Really, lots of fun. So, Deborah, what else do we have? When should we use it?
Well, I like to use it pretty much anytime because, it's so much like your regular thread in the way it behaves that really there's no reason to restrict its use. Right, Eileen?
Absolutely. And, fall is a great time. So we have, lots of different samples to share with you. Here we have some earrings that have been done. Here we have a dark green. Now that's not metallic. That's a hedge of our exquisite thread, but paired with the orange or MA24. That looks just lovely. Now you most certainly can wind it in the bobbin, Deborah.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. When you're making that lace, do both sides.
Yeah, and fringe. Of course, you're also going to want it in the bobbin, right? When you're using any kind of fringe. What else do we have? Well, here's a good example of running stitches, but many of them have that thread buildup, extra shading on these pumpkins. And that's where you really get that sheen.
That really looks great. I can see the sheen coming through the camera.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, right. Like, look at how it kind of glimmers. Isn't that fun? All right, what's next? We have a beautiful pumpkin. So here we have wide satins that are light and then shaded with this orange. But notice that those straight running stitches, evenly spaced, pretty close together, not really overlapping. But again, you're going to get your sheen in there, your metallic sparkle.
And and those colors really do say fall, Eileen.
Oh, yeah. I love that. Just love that. It's going to be here before we know it. Those of you who love summer, it's going to be here before we know it. Now, this kitty cat over here, now these aren't really satins. These are more like chain stitches that overlap each other several rows, and yet you still do get that glimmer. And look at how that gold contrast is important, right?
Beautiful.
Off that dark, dark fabric, a kind of a, stormy cloud. And here we have a fill. Now, this is just a flat fill, but again, maybe it would have been better if it had some motif.
Perhaps,
you know?
yeah, perhaps.
Mhm. But look at this broom! Isn't this
Now that
fantastic?
really is amazing, Eileen, how those running stitches are patterned in a way to show off that metallic.
Right, absolutely. So, you get more for your money in an area like this, right? As compared to these evenly spaced, maybe 3 millimeters, 4 millimeters apart. But when they're just right next to each other, oh, that's to die
So
for.
that's almost as showy as a curvy satin.
It is, right. And yet it's lighter. So if you were going to do this on a t-shirt, imagine how wearable that would be instead of having, say, that motif to fill in this
Right.
wide area.
And before you leave that sample, Eileen, I love that you quilted it with the metallic.
Yeah, I did. I just did that free motion too. I didn't digitize that.
Ooh.
I know, it was fun. My stitches
Good job.
are pretty even.
Yeah,
Pretty
sure.
proud of that.
Sure
Yeah.
looks pretty even.
It's like a Zen moment when
Yeah.
you do that,
Right.
But look at this, Deborah. Isn't this
Yes,
fun?
dramatic.
Wow.
Look how dramatic that one is.
I
Oh,
know.
love it.
I know. So we have interesting color combinations, right? We have the burnt orange or the orange, and then we have a copper and the purple, a little bit of silver and gold. That's really what makes all the different elements pop. You can see them.
Right. And Lori commented she's not much into Halloween, but this scene is a fall scene.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yes.
regardless of Halloween, you can still get lots of bang for your buck with fall designs,
Yeah.
with the fall colors in metallic.
Absolutely. Love that. But if you do like Halloween, you might like this. So I paired this with Mylar. So look how much fun that is. So here we have the orange fill over the Mylar, orange satin, and then purple bats that are stitched within. And
Cute.
also, over here, and then some polka dots that are all stitched. A
Right.
little hardware on the back
Right.
of the boot. Isn't that fun?
Right.
Oh, I love
and
that.
really that metallic, it is surprising how it goes so well with the Mylar.
Yeah, I know. Mylar, of course, adds its own bling and zing, right? But when you pair it with metallic, you can never have too much.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
it's really fun. Because when you're going to have an element of Mylar like this, and then you have just a plain poly outline, it might really be too flat.
Right. It's amazing how much it adds to the Mylar.
Yeah.
Now, Eileen, are you going to show your special effect there now?
Right.
I saw this when I came in. You had it on the machine. I was blown away that you were so brave to use metallic thread with, something that grabs your thread like puffy foam.
Right. So I'm actually in the process of stitching this patch. And, one of the steps is to lay down the puffy foam and then stitch. And I use the purple metallic thread. So I'm just going to rip this off. And then you can see that chaos behind it is the name of our font. Isn't that a great font, Deborah?
I love it. And it's really great with these colors. It really pops.
It really does. And maybe we need to get like a flat behind this.
There you go. Yeah, show that baby off.
So I still have to put this back on the machine and get my outline, of course, on my patch. But isn't that fun?
That is one cool patch.
Yeah,
I can think of some kids that would love that.
Yeah, and so it has lots of texture. Let's see if you can see the depth of that foam. It's tall. It's really tall.
that's a 3 millimeter foam, so it's really going to add some richness to your design. And look at, you just used an enclosed type font with it, and that's what made the foam work.
And I mean, I don't know, kids would like these little, the negatives.
Oh,
that
yeah,
come
yeah,
out,
yeah.
Right? How fun is that?
Yeah,
right?
do a craft with the inserts that you popped out.
Sure. So what fabric is under the puffy foam? So that is our poly patch twill, Deborah.
Oh,
so
yes.
we're going to talk a little bit about that because, you were really instrumental in bringing that to Dime, this poly patch twill.
Well, the poly patch twill has a polyester face, but it has a permanently bonded backing so that you don't have to worry with ironing on some iron-on stabilizer.
Yeah.
You've got it permanently on there. It's ready to go. When you get through stitching that border, Eileen, you'll have a patch.
Absolutely. Yeah, it'll be beautiful. And then I can just, apply that with our patch attach,
Right.
right to a garment
And,
or hat.
and one of the viewers said she's not familiar with the puffy foam, but that is available too in a rainbow of colors.
Yeah, I have that pack right here.
There you go.
Yeah, here's the puffy foam pack. So it comes with 10 sheets, and they're 9 by 12 inches. It's 3 millimeters thick. So that's pretty thick, right?
Right.
And it's high density foam. So it's going to contain its loft, right, Deborah?
Right. And when you see the raised lettering on golf pros hats and things, this is what they're using to get that effect. So you can do it right on your machine.
Right. Some brand names that you might be familiar with would be like Titleist and Callaway. You often see that puffy foam on their logo.
Exactly.
It's beautiful. And that's how it's done.
Right.
That's exactly.
So hold up the end of that. Can you hold up just the end and let them look how beautiful? Look how good that shows. Great on the camera, and you get all those colors. And the reason is you use a similar color to your top thread when you're doing the puffy foam. So and
here's my purple Kingstar.
Yeah.
Let me just. Well, here I can use this piece, and you can see not a perfect match, but it is here pretty close, close enough. So that in the actual finished stitch out, you don't see any foam underneath, right?
Right.
You don't see any foam. That's the whole goal. You just want your top thread to blend with the foam.
So yes, that's right. And Lori's asking, would she get puffy foam from Dime? Well, sure. Or your local dealer may carry it, but we have it, right, Eileen?
Absolutely, we do. Yep. And so one of our team members will get the link up on the website in a little bit, but it's anyway, this is just great to have in your sewing room. 10 sheets. These sheets are big. Let me pull one out. I'll pull out this beautiful blue one. It's one of my favorite colors, this blue. And that's a big sheet. So notice I only used, just a tiny small bit for my boo. So, these sheets last a long time, Deborah.
Right.
It's usually a small element that you add to your embroidery.
Often it's lettering, but sometimes it's just a little accent.
Right.
But the Cindy Hart commented that you could use those letters boo for another project, and you certainly could.
Sure could.
They're so cute.
Yeah, Deborah, how do we care for this? You can wash it.
It. You can dry clean it, and the only caveat is that you don't want to overly heat it or flatten it with an iron, but it is washable and dry cleanable if it is genuine embroidery foam from Dime. Some of the craft foams, actually the downside to them is that they deteriorate in the wash, and they are not serviceable in the laundry. Wow. So
what do we have next? Well, maybe I'll put this back on.
Okay.
And so why don't Deborah, let's talk about what is next, because it is why is Kingstar the best? And I know that's your area.
Well, Kingstar is the best because we know it behaves like your regular thread. So that means you don't have to use a special needle for the metallic thread from Kingstar. You've heard about metallic needles, some of the brand names, Metallica, I forget the name of the other one that I've seen, but you don't need to use those specialty needles when it comes to Kingstar metallic. Just use your regular sewing needle that is correct for the fabric you're applying the metallic to. Also, you don't need to do anything special with your running speed. Some metallic threads, you have to slow down to a crawl to keep them from breaking and to keep them from shredding, because metallic is made up of several layers. You've got a polyester or nylon core that's covered by multiple layers to give you the color, the metallic, and the wrapping that holds it all together. So what happens with a lot of metallics, and you may have seen this, is that the coatings get stripped away as you stitch, right, Eileen?
Yes, absolutely.
And that means that you end up just seeing, maybe if that inner thread hasn't been dyed to match that coating, you end up with white.
Right.
Yeah.
You do.
And that's really a bummer. You come back to your machine, you see all this white embroidery that you thought was going to be this beautiful gold or something like that. And by the way, Kingstar does come in 16 beautiful shades.
It does.
And so right now we're featuring these rich fall shades, the copper, the gold, the purple, and the orange. So these are really rich shades, but there's lots of others, but these are the ones that we think are really perfect for fall stitching. So we use a regular needle, and we use regular stitching speeds. And as you showed so beautifully, and you're finishing up now, you can use your specialty techniques like your Mylar, like your Puffy foam, and it doesn't create stitching issues.
I know, it's awesome. So let's see, we had this is a great question from Michelle. So do you load your Kingstar in your sewing machine spool or another freestanding spool?
Oh, I just put it right on my spool that I stitch with every thread from, because there's no, Eileen, that's another thing we failed to mention. You don't need one of those specialty holders or one of the tall spools that
thread stands.
You could certainly use that if you choose, and that's maybe what you use with the bigger cones on your machine, but you don't have to. You don't have to put it, on the wall across the room for your machine and let it unwind, because it does not act like wire. It acts like thread.
Right.
And so that's the reason that many of the metallics behave like they do. They're wiry. It's as simple as that. And they twist, and you can watch them as they unwind from the spool. They're twisting and kinking.
Right. And actually, we can kind of show how it just spools off, right? How it just puddles.
Right.
So on that overhead cam, let me get my hand out of the way so that you just see how it just puddles in a circular pattern.
Just like a regular
Can you see
thread.
that? Yeah.
And
that up a little bit.
and of course the fact that there you go. You see how it does not look like wire. It looks like thread.
It just looks like thread.
And the other thing, now that you've done that, Eileen.
I got to put it back together.
Yeah.
Deborah.
So let's show everyone how you tie off a spool of the Kingstar metallic.
So you walk me through it, Deborah. Tell me
Okay.
what to
Well,
do.
you are just going to pull off 6 or 8 inches of thread there, and then you're going to just rotate your wrist 3 times. 1, 2, 3, and slip that right over the top of that cone,
Just like that.
and then just that loose end goes through the loop, and you've got it tied off. Now that is a great way to care for your metallic thread, because it's going to go right back on your thread rack or wherever you store your thread.
Yeah. And then where it's not all that tight, so then I can just find it again and just open
and that
and
keeps
pull it off
from wasting thread.
Right.
And so many times our thread storage methods waste thread. If you put tape on your thread, if you maybe let it just dangle, you may end up losing thread, where with this method you're going to save thread.
I love it. I love it. Oh, and look, our patch is done.
Oh, all right. I love it when we can multitask like we're doing today. So here's your finished patch. Why don't you show them how to get that into making a patch?
So I just, push through, right? I'm kind of, with my left hand, I'm lifting up the heavy duty water soluble stabilizer. And with my right hand, I'm pushing down on the patch. And that's just releasing that water soluble stabilizer from the satin stitches.
Right. And and that is that's just the heavy water soluble. Now Marilyn says she
Not fun.
Actually it was Dinah who said, look at that beautiful patch. Dinah says she wants to use the foam on towels, and what a great idea that is, right, Eileen? Because it completely would cover the towel.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kingstar is fine for towels. You can launder Kingstar.
True.
You can put it in the
Right.
wash. So
Right.
it doesn't matter which one you're using. Let's see. And Judy says she's kind of an OCD gal, has to have all 16 colors. We don't have that on sale today. We have the fall,
Right.
quartet on sale today.
Yeah, but you
can
can
start with that,
Right. You
right?
can collect them 4 at a time. That's great. That's a great way to do it. And Dinah says, are you using Badge Master for the patch? Well, it is a heavy duty water soluble, and it's about 80 microns. So the kind you use for a topping would be about 15 to 20 microns. So this is like 4 times as heavy.
Oh, nice.
And so that means it's a good base, and that's what keeps your patch from punching out while you're stitching it.
Right.
But when you get to the end and you put that final border on, it makes a clean finish, right?
It sure does. And listen to where is that comment? Marilyn Jones. She used the Kingstar on her Thanksgiving placemats and didn't have a problem with 10 placemats.
Wow. So that's just
Sweet.
a impromptu testimonial, and we have the same experience every time we use it.
That's awesome. And our friends at Laserbee Studio, they've used it on plenty of projects, and it launders and just looks fantastic. I love it. Can the foam be used with any pattern? Well, not really, Diane, right?
It needs to be satin stitches for sure, because that's what lets you have the loft, right?
Yeah.
And it needs to have about twice the density of your regular satin stitches so that it gives you that clean edge. And the last thing is, you see, Eileen was using an enclosed font. That's important. It has to be where the letters have a closure to them. And of course, the O's do naturally.
Yeah.
But let's think of an L. An L is got open edges at the top and the bottom. So you'd have to have a font that's made for foam so that it caps those off, right?
Right. So let's pop into my software, because, that's where I got these letters. This Chaos font was digitized specifically for a puffy foam. Now, what Deborah explained, the boo, they all are circular. They're enclosed, except for those openings. But let's go ahead and I'll select my text tool, and I'm just going to type the letter L, and I'm going to select puffy foam. You might have to bear with me while we do this for a minute. I have to look for my P's. There we go. P's mean puffy in our software, and there you can see again, this has made that.
Oh, well, that L is enclosed.
It is enclosed. So here, let's start a new program and take a look at our other puffies, and we'll just do another letter L. Well, that's Greek, so that's probably not going to work. We'll do Kaufman. Okay. These are open.
There, yeah.
I love this font. You use this a lot,
I do
Deborah.
like this font.
So the blue stitches first, and that's kind of a shadow of the puffy, right? Because the puffy is going to be that red. Now, what we don't see underneath of these open ends is probably capping stitches, right?
And that's what's going to keep the foam from hanging out the end of that.
Right. And so a capping stitch are kind of these little narrow satins that, they shrink down to the tip of whatever it is they're stitching over, so that when you go to rip off that foam, that's where it's going to cut it.
Right. So
pretty cool
so that just means that, yes, you have to make sure you're using an enclosed shape or a specially digitized design or font.
Yeah, right. Okay, let's see. So it's Roxana wants to know, can you use foam on kitchen towels? You can.
It'd be fun.
It would be fun.
And think about what you might use it for on a kitchen towel. Like if you think about let's say you were putting some different little veggies or something on a towel. If you had a jalapeno pepper, just add some foam underneath it. That'd be a great element.
Or if you were doing like a cupcake, an applique cupcake, well, the icing could be foam.
You bet.
That would be, give it some dimension.
It's great as an accent. You don't have to do the whole design in foam.
Right. And Judy wants to know, will we have a holiday season? We will. That'll come up later, and it'll be And
let's see if you can guess the colors that would be in the holiday quartet. Okay, guess is welcome.
That's right. Do we sell the Mylar? Sure, we sell Mylar.
And we sell blue opalescent mylar because there are all kind of colors. There's pink opalescent, yellow opalescent, green opalescent, but blue opalescent is the one that, and they all pick up the colors of your thread. Yeah. But if you use any of those other colors like pink, your white will have a pink cast. If you use green, your white will have a green cast. But if you use our blue opalescent, the white will stay white,
which is what you want. Let's see. So Mary S. Larson, she had a good idea about using the boo on Christmas trees from Roxana. I love that. But Mary thought that, on kids' socks, that would be really fun. Imagine like black socks and maybe up, fun socks up high, like a knee high, something like that. Yeah.
Good idea.
Yeah. Really great idea. Okay, so let's see. Well, that's great. Our team members are putting the links in for the Mylar, and so you can grab that, right? And Retha says she sees shopping in her future.
Yeah, well, these little add-ons, that make our embroidery kind of special. The Mylar, the Puffy foam, they're cool things to just keep in your sewing room.
Yeah.
For that
special occasion,
when that inspiration strikes.
Right. And truth be told, I didn't have the purple foam at home, and so I had this all planned: the boo, the orange, patch, and so forth. And then when I really was time to stitch it, I'm like, I don't have the purple. Maybe it's my favorite color, and I've used it up. I don't know, but I was able to come in here to the office and stitch it this morning. So that was good.
And there's no better fun to be had than ripping that foam off.
I know. Super fun. Right. Now, Mary Alvarez wants to know, where do we find the boo design? Well, I was just in our software and I created that myself. So it's not for sale, but if you have our Word Art and Stitches or Perfect Embroidery Pro, then you would probably have that Chaos font in there. That's where our Puffy fonts are. So let's see, Diamond Crystal, you want to know, can you show the link for the heavy topper that was used? So that would be our heavy water soluble stabilizer. That's what we call that. It's not really a topper, Diamond. This is a base, right?
Yeah.
You're going to hoop it. You're not going to put it over top.
Some people, you may have used something like this in the past for lace.
Yes, absolutely.
But we recommend the mesh type. But sometimes you may have, in the past, before we had the convenience of the mesh fabric-y type, it may have used the.
So many options today, that just weren't available, 20 years ago, even 10, 5 years ago, so.
And just FYI, most lace designers recommend the mesh type. But
they do.
But this is something that has been around a long time.
Yeah. For sure. Okay, so let's see. So how do you wash the foam? So Lori, you're just going to treat it just like you would the fabric that it's on.
Right. Mm-hmm. We did mention that it is heat sensitive, but that doesn't mean you can't put it in the dryer. Just don't cook it. You're just going to lightly dry it like you would anything that is heat sensitive. It's not good. It's going to go away. But one of the things that we have found in finishing foam, Eileen, if you do have some little hairy bits, because maybe your stitching wasn't quite dense enough, and so when you ripped that away, you had some little pieces of foam that you can barely see.
We have one little piece poking out.
Yeah, one piece. Okay, just
right
like that.
There.
And see, that is a good example. You can take your hairdryer and use it on a high setting, and that will shrink. If you put it about 8 inches away from that, it'll make that foam shrink up right inside that stitching, Eileen.
Right. It's awesome. It's so fun to watch.
It's like magic.
So, foam is fun embroidery, right? It's fun to place it down. It's fun to rip it off and then to not burn it, but heat it so it sucks up. It's pretty cool. Let's see. Ann Philbeck says, I love my embroidery compass.
Oh,
me too. Me too.
Well,
my goodness. It's awesome.
And of course, if you don't know what the compass is, it's just a tool.
I've always had one right there.
Yeah. Okay. It's just a wheel that has my recommendations on it for my suggestions for your stabilizers, your needle type, and tips based on whatever fabric you spin the wheel to.
And it's double-sided, so
Right.
you don't just get 10 substrates, you get 20.
Right.
Or however many.
Yeah.
are
Oh,
on
there's about 25. I think.
25.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So let's see. Judy Warren says, good tip about the hair dryer. When you watch Between Friends, you're always going to pick up at least one good tip. Right?
That's right.
Absolutely.
And you're going to see, some great inspirational samples always.
Absolutely. And, it doesn't just come from me. We have people on here that always share really great tips for sure. Diane LaRue wants to know, will it work on Minky?
Well, Diane, what you might want to do, if you're talking about foam, it would, but you might want to use some of those stitches underneath, right, Eileen? To make a base,
yes.
like our nap blocker stitches, because that's going to flatten that Minky out and let your foam have a base.
Yeah, but also let's think about Minky, right? Minky's so soft and cuddly, and you can just take it and ball it up, right? You can't really do that with foam. Foam is rigid.
Right. It would depend on what you have in mind, but it's probably going to be it's okay on any napped fabric because it's certainly going to cover the nap. But you just want to think about too. How supportive or how should I say, how firm that base is.
Right.
Because for the foam to really stand up, it needs a firm base.
It does need a firm base. So if it's a quilt block, that's probably stabilized and then going to have batting and backing in it, fabric, then it'd probably be fine. But if it's Minky that's going to be a throw,
right,
just a single layer, then it probably wouldn't be.
I agree. Yeah, because Minky's basically very supple.
Yeah. Diane is thinking about eyes. How fun is that?
That's a great idea.
Well, Diane, check it out and then post it on social media and we'll find it. Tag it with Dime Sew Along and we'll find it and share it with everyone. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I love that.
I love hearing people's ideas. Okay, so we do have, where do you buy it?
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty important.
Right.
So where do you buy it? That is our on special today. That's at dzgns.com, and you use your promo code of Fall Thread, and there's our prices. Hey, there's another little buy in there, that exquisite poly 40, that quartet of the fall colors.
Right.
So let's show that. Huh?
Sure. And
okay.
Let's take a look.
Okay, so here's our fall exquisite pack. So we have Hedge, which is a deep green, and then cranberry, date, and cinnamon. And boy, do they look so nice together. So here's an example of some leaves. I use the cinnamon on the background to kind of create a grid pattern. And then each of these leaves are stitched in a different color. I just love those warm earth tones for fall.
And look how they blend together.
Yeah.
They really are of the same intensity. So they go together so well.
They really do. Yeah. And so they look really good on kind of a light fabric so that, those dark colors can pop. Like here's a little liner for a bread, dish. I want to call it a bowl, but it's square. So tray. That's a
tray. There we go. It's a tray.
But aren't they fun? So that is, we call this font, I think this is our Taj Mahal.
It is.
Yeah. And this is in Word Art and Stitches. I just love it. So each letter has different unique elements in it. And I just limited myself to my fall quartet. I just had a blast stitching that. And then I selected a binding fabric that had those same color tones. And boy, this stitched up in, I think 20 minutes.
And that's a great thing about that font. You get good size and great interest, but quick stitching.
Yeah. So we could pop into the software and I could show you that because it's so pretty. And what I really want to show you is that the letters are actually really colorful, like spring colorful. So here, let's see, where's that Taj Mahal? Where are we going to find that? Do you think it's in the T's? We don't always put it in alphabetical because they're grouped by type. So here we go. So we'll do fall in its original colors. So you can see, look how fun and fresh that is, right? But it doesn't really say fall to me, those colors.
Right. And on that point, Eileen,
Mm-hmm.
this is a neat font to work with because Eileen actually customized it for her fall.
Did.
So those little elements that are in there, she modified a bit, right?
Yeah. So why don't I just go ahead and bring this whole design over to the new one so you can see the difference, right? Bear with me while I
Copy it.
Copy
That's a
and
great
paste.
way.
Yeah, there we go. And let me just zoom in center for you a little bit. Now look at the difference, right? Now I didn't change this actual color on the F, but what I did on the A was I took out these tulips and I put in some leaves that I found in our symbols. You know, we have tons of little hidden gems in
Right.
this software.
Right.
I'm still finding things, Deborah, you know,
Right.
after using it all these years, and we update it.
But I love the fact that this font is so friendly to
Yeah.
doing things like that, to
Yeah.
your creativity. It's
Right.
beautiful. You did a beautiful job.
Well, thank you. And, you know, so if you have our software, this will come in as text, right? So when we open that up, it's text, but I can right click on it and say break up text. And now here's my different elements, right? So I can go in and change those colors. Here, we'll make that one like the fall. And you can just see how, you know, if I start to work on this, I can mimic or
Right.
just change the whole outcome. It's really super fun. Yeah, so that's in our Word Art and Stitches program, and it's a very affordable, robust lettering program that, boy,
Yeah.
it gives you all kinds of fun stuff.
Absolutely. In fact, you know, it eliminates the need to have 5 different lettering programs.
Yeah, right, because it does everything that you want. So anyway, that's where we are. What else do we have in store, Deborah? Oh, on the house.
On the house. Bring it
Yeah.
on, baby. This is a good one this week.
Okay, so on the house here, let me get my act together. All right, so here's our special, right? We already talked about it. It's that $59.96 for 4 spools of Kingstar. That is really a bargain. And then we have the exquisite 4 spools for $10. So super fun. Let's take a look at your on the house projects. My good friend Suelle Brown, she did a sew along for the coasters, and she chose some fun bright colors, right?
Yes, she sure did.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love that collection. Really great. And then Gayla George.
Ooh.
Oh, isn't that pretty? That fabric is just gorgeous. She quilted the basket. Very lovely. Crystal Campbell. Look at these. And she monogrammed her tray.
Nice.
Very well done. That was a great
What
idea.
a great gift. Wouldn't that make
Yeah.
a nice housewarming gift? Oh my
Mhm.
goodness. Put the recipient's initial in there.
Yeah. And every time they use it, they'll think of you, right? You know? So let's see. We do need a link for the embroidery tool shed and the Word Art and Stitches. So if somebody can get that, let's see. Can we just purchase the lettering program and run it as a standalone? Sharon wants to know. Yes. So you can, Sharon, you can purchase Word Art and Stitches as a standalone program, and you don't need our full digitizing program
Right.
to use it.
Right. And it's
So-
got tons of features for anyone who doesn't want to digitize. You can do lots of editing and things like
Oh,
you
yeah,
did
right. For sure.
in that program.
Yeah. So that'll be coming. That link will be coming in just a moment. Okay, who's next? Oh, Dog Days of Summer.
That's the cool dog school bus.
Yeah. Isn't that great?
Yeah, great job. And of course, you know, that is kind of a salute to Dog Days of Summer
Yeah.
and back to school, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's so cool. Love the sunglasses and
And
the
look,
hat on the driver.
And Susan, I have to salute you because you followed the color instructions very closely. I can tell because your doors on your school bus are a different shade slightly than the bus. And that's what really gives it dimension.
Yes, without that,
Yeah.
not so much,
Right.
right? Yeah. Oh, they
Nice
love it.
job.
They do love it. Good job, Susan. Okay, so let's see who's next. Tammy Cushman. Now she said she's gifting this to a family member who has like 3 or 4 Harleys. So that's perfect for him, right?
Absolutely.
And it's hard to make gifts for guys. So
Right.
this is a great gift for guys. Now, if you don't know all about these coasters, this was the free project that Dime provided to you at the end of June, right? July. Got my months mixed up. So, they come in 4x4 sizes and also in a larger size for 8x8 hoops, I think. All the instructions are there. You'll see. Okay, Esther Hopland.
Woo.
Look how nice that is. Yeah.
Loving it. They look so pretty when you see them all together.
They do. And just imagine, on your coffee table or, where you're hosting your guests. Really nice. Very, very lovely.
Great colors.
So
great
I
colors.
think we're ready to reveal our next one. Look who's back. Sunny Girl. Everybody loves Sunny Girl. Sunny Girl came out kind of for summer, right?
She came out in May.
Yeah, and she was adorable. She had palm trees in her glasses. Well, now she's ready for fall.
I love her.
We love her too. Comes in 2 sizes. This one that you see here is the 5x7. And then the 4x4 design is the same beautiful face and the sweet heart-shaped lips, but no ponytail and no body. So that's the difference between the 4x4 and the 5x7.
But it's adorable even in the 4x4. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. And do we have any plans on releasing any new Kingstar colors? We're always planning and always looking, Sandra. We are. Oh, and Diana Mullins-Atkinson, she's another embroidery expert who loves Kingstar. She adores the fall version of Sunny. Oh, fall's her favorite time of year.
All right.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Judy Warren, love this. Aren't the sunglasses so fun? Yeah, we all love Sunny Girls. You're going to be seeing a little bit more of her.
Yeah, that's
sneak peek. And Judy says, thank you for giving us such wonderful things. You are welcome. It's our pleasure. We love doing what we do, right, Deborah?
Absolutely. And, when we see what you do with what we do, it makes us really happy.
And it inspires us to continue to keep doing this because it's a lot of work, right?
Right. But, really the designs that were submitted this week are great. And I'd love to see Sunny Girl next time on what people do.
Yeah, we can't wait to see that. Yeah. And let's see, Dinah says, Sunny Girl is just a little bit of a flashback to the 70s. So fun. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because a lot of us are still like in the 70s.
Yeah.
And Marjorie, you said that you posted Dime So Long, but haven't seen them So no, it's not the wrong address. Dime So Long is right. You could also do hashtag on the house. We retrieve these Wednesday at like 5:00 Central Time. So if you posted after, then it probably didn't make it into the slideshow, and I apologize for that. There's a lot to do to prep for these Facebook Lives. So we try to get that portion done a little bit earlier.
Hey, Linda Brooks says the 70s are great. And, that could refer to the decade or to our age.
Yeah, either one, right? And boy, if you are celebrating 70, then, more power to you, right?
Absolutely.
All you do at 70, I think, is celebrate those birthdays for sure. So let's see. And, look in the comments here. My friends are saying you want to get notified of Between Friends, click on the link in the chat and then you'll be notified. So let's see. Linda Brooks says, yep, she was married in 1973. Good for you. Oh, Marjorie's going to put Sunny Girl on her coasters.
Okay. Love that. Oh, that'll be so cute with the head. Oh, good idea.
Good
Love
idea.
your idea, Marjorie.
Yeah. Well, I had so much fun making those coasters. Frankly, I want the rest of the year, every monthly project to be coasters.
Well, actually we saw, the Harleys on the coasters.
Yeah.
You could just keep going with that.
You sure could. So you might see them again. Not next month, but anyway. Okay. Hey, next week, pretty happening stuff. We have 2 guests next week. I have Ashley Jones and Reen Wilcoxon. We have a really special new product that was developed in cooperation with Reen Wilcoxon of Embroidery Garden, and we are all so excited here. I'm going to have to get off of Facebook Live before I spill all the beans, but it's something that Reen's been working on a long time, and we helped her bring it to life here at Dime. So we're super excited to share that. So Ashley and I are going to welcome Reen here, and we'll have a really great time sharing this new product.
Eileen, several people in the comments have said they came late. They didn't get their notification or whatever happened. But, when this ends, you can still watch.
Yes, absolutely. And really, please do. We appreciate all the time you spend here with Dime. But, like we say, you always learn something new every week, right? And today we covered making a patch, that heavy-duty water-soluble stabilizer. We did puffy foam, metallic thread. We talked a little bit about Mylar.
Right.
Yeah, we've had a lot of fun here today.
We talked about a lot. And there were so many tips, even how to store your thread. I mean, it's always a lot to learn here at Facebook Live.
That's awesome. So let's see. One person was asking about is exquisite good for quilting.
There she is.
Absolutely. That's all I use for quilting. And unless I'm doing a metallic.
And isn't it nice to know that you've got all those colors to choose from for your quilting, because exquisite thread comes in 288
colors. Absolutely. You can't see it, but we have a whole wall over there, and it's our candy shop, right?
Right.
Yeah, we love it. Whole rainbow, full of color. So, Deborah, thank you for joining me today. It's always such a pleasure to have her here. She's the best. And thank you to all our watchers.
We had a great time. Thanks for joining.
Okay, we'll see you here next week.